What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sloppy Saturdays. And today we are going over some more transfer portal news. We're going over two highly profiled players that there is news around in the transfer portal. One has officially made his decision, the other flipped his decision. I want to get into both right now, as there are two guys that I know you guys want to hear about, but not only that, could completely change college football because they are both that talented. First guy we're going to talk about is DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway, again, super high profile guy, was the number one quarterback in his class. He's a guy that we all know from a talent standpoint is everything you want from a quarterback in the sense of physically imposing size. When you look at what he's able to do running the football, what his arm talent ability has to make every throw. This guy, again, from a physical attribute standpoint, he has it all. The biggest issue with DJ Lagway since he's came into college, if everybody remembers, about 2 years ago, he comes in for Graham Mertz. Things were rocky then, and they really never went up since then. DJ Lagway had this continuous issue of turnovers. He cannot process fast enough in the SEC, and that was continuously a problem for him. My biggest thing with DJ Lagway is, to me, he seems like a rhythmic type player, and this is what I don't like for a college football quarterback, for an NFL quarterback. If you're a quarterback, whatever level you are at, you have to have the ability to have a short memory. When we watch DJ Lagway, ever since he came in as a true freshman, it has been quite the opposite. You've seen very on and off type games. You see DJ Lagway where he completely tears up a football game. Then you see DJ Lagway where he has 2+ interceptions in a game. How many times can we count DJ Lagway turning the football over multiple times in a football game? I don't like quarterbacks that are rhythmic like that. You need a short memory. I need a quarterback that when he throws an interception, how is he going to bounce back from adversity? How is he going to adapt in a football game? For DJ Lagway, for me, once it got bad, it got awful, then it got horrible. Like, that's the point DJ Lagway was at. And I don't think DJ Lagway right now is ready to process at a high level in the SEC. I think DJ Lagway really had to prioritize what is going to be best for his development into an NFL prospect. Because there is no doubt, again, like I said, with the intangibles that DJ Lagway has, whatever path his college football career is going to go towards, he's going to be an NFL prospect of some sorts. Again, like I said, 6'3", 247 pounds, can make every throw in the field, has elite rushing upside. The guy's going to be an NFL prospect of some sorts. But I think it was very important for him in this transfer portal to make the decision best for his development. Not just say, hey, I'm going to go to the best school that's offering me for the most amount of money. And I was very nervous when DJ Lagway was going into this transfer portal cycle that he was going to really bite on the big fish. I know there was going to be some big school that was going to say, hey, we could really develop DJ Lagway into an elite quarterback in college football with the intangibles he has. But I feel like right now in college football, very different than how it was back in the day. People aren't really necessarily looking for a quarterback that they want to put into the NFL, develop to a first rounder that's going to take a 3-year type of process. Right now, if you're an elite college football program, you could go after that guy that may not be as highly touted as an NFL prospect, but a guy that could really take you to a national championship right now and is going to be a great college football quarterback right now. So that's where I believe the market for DJ Lagway is a little lower, just because of, again, how many quarterbacks are in the transfer portal and how many win now teams want a quarterback that's going to best suit them to win now, not necessarily the best NFL guy. That's the difference right now with DJ Lagway. Now, DJ Lagway does commit to Baylor. By the time you guys are seeing this, pretty much everybody watching this knows that. He commits to Baylor, and this is something that I actually called on this podcast. The day DJ Lagway went into the transfer portal, again, it may have came out a couple of days after, I said the school I predicted him to go to is Baylor, and that's the school that he should go to. Like I said, I didn't want him to get caught in the trap of going to a big school with big expectations, national championship expectations, because I believe right now where he's at in college football in his development, he's not ready to take a team to the college football playoffs, to the national championship. I don't think he's ready to do that, and I think it would be too much of a burden on expectations, too much pressure for him. I thought Baylor honestly was the perfect fit for him because when we look at the Big 12, there was so much opportunity for development as a player and as for team growth as well. Like, I believe Baylor and DJ Lagway is the perfect fit for both sides. Again, DJ Lagway isn't going to have those national championship expectations at Baylor, but he's at a school in their conference that's, again, one of the worst Power Four conferences, arguably the worst, but it has the ability for him to be competitive in the conference. He's not going to be where he was at in Florida, where, again, they're going to be at the bottom of the SEC and he's going to be outmatched every game. And again, he's not ready to process and take over an SEC game when he doesn't have the best parts, again, going against a team in conference. Like, Baylor, in my opinion, again, are they a top 2 team in the conference? No, probably not. Because, again, like I said, Texas Tech and BYU are 2 teams right now that have elite spending in that conference. But I would consider Baylor a top 5 team in that conference. And they showed, again, with DJ Lagway, they are ready to make moves in the transfer portal. And I think it's a great move for both sides. Like I said, I think DJ Lagway is going to have a great opportunity at Baylor to develop with talent that's going to be able to be competitive in that conference. And for him not to have, those national championship huge program expectations, I thought it was a perfect fit for both sides. Like I said, for Baylor, they're going to have the opportunity to really develop a prospect that could be a first round NFL prospect where, again, they didn't have that opportunity for a while. Again, probably since RG3. So I think it's a great move for both sides. I thought it was the perfect move for DJ Lagway. And I'm very happy that DJ Lagway didn't really bite on any of the big fishes because I don't think that would have been the best opportunity for him. I don't think he's ready to take a team to the national championship. And I think it's time to prioritize and look at the mirror and say, hey, I got to do what's best for me to get to the NFL, what's best for my development. I believe Baylor is that move for him. And again, for him at Florida, I'm not going to put it all on him. Again, this was a young quarterback in not the best situation. We all know the amount of turmoil Florida has been on. Again, they had to make major changes this season as well. Again, for that type of disaster, it takes multiple counterparts. It's not just DJ Lagway. But again, he got out of that situation. I think for him personally, he's in a better one now. And that's what the transfer portal is all about. Now we're going to get into Demond Williams, who, again, has one of the craziest flips that I have seen in a while. Again, a lot of you guys might not think of Demond Williams as high as I do. Or, again, I feel like this guy doesn't have as much hype as he should. I think Demond Williams right now could contend for the best player in this transfer portal cycle. I would still lean Sam Levitt just because, again, how creative Sam Levitt is and the amount of big games Sam Levitt has played in. Again, you're talking about a guy that played really well in a college football playoff game. I think Sam Levitt has a little more experience. I would lean Sam Levitt being the number 1 quarterback. But Demond Williams, when you talk about upside, we could look a year from now and say this was the best guy in the transfer portal. Again, Demond Williams reminds me a lot, I've said it time and time again on this podcast, of Kyler Murray. Now, I'm not saying he by any means is as good as Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is one of the best quarterbacks we have seen in the last century in college football. Kyler Murray was phenomenal. Everybody knows how highly touted of a prospect he was. Heisman Trophy winner, turned into the first overall pick. But Demond Williams, again, with his size, with everything he's able to do on a football field, reminds me a lot of Kyler Murray. When we look at 5'11", 190 pounds, again, I think he's a guy that can go into the NFL. Probably not going to be a first rounder by any means, just based on the size. I think the NFL really turned away from quarterbacks under 6 foot. I mean, we saw the last guy be Bryce Young, but Bryce Young, another guy with a prolific college football career. But Demond Williams, phenomenal season he had this year, in my opinion. I think Demond Williams, outside of Wisconsin, won every game that his team should have won. And then he lost to teams like in Ohio State, like in Oregon. But when we look at Demond Williams, when you look at 3,000 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and then when you look at Demond Williams, again, completed nearly 70% of his passes, also adding the rushing upside, 600 rushing yards, and then you look at 8 touchdowns as well. This is a guy that can do it on the ground, can do it in the air. Now, the biggest thing with Demond Williams is he was committed to return back to Washington, and then he flipped. I think he had a $4 million deal with Washington. He flips, and he goes into the transfer portal now with a no-contact tag. Now, the biggest thing with this story is Washington is really set to press charges basically on tampering because he flips and goes with a no contact tag. So that means as he was negotiating with Washington, other teams were talking to him. And again, there's a certain point in the cycle, in this process, where you can't talk to a player. And now that he enters the transfer portal with a no contact tag, there is about a 90% chance that he already knows where he's going. And again, I hope for his sake that nothing happens to him because this is a quarterback that we need in college football as a dual threat. Again, this is a guy that, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, could really change narratives of college football season next year. Like he could change the landscape. He is that talented. And this is a guy, if he joins a better situation, not only could it help his development going to the NFL, but this is a guy that can make a team really contend for a national championship. Now, the two teams that I really wanted to see is I like Miami a lot. When we look at Miami for quarterback development, what they have done over the past 2 years, they know the right quarterbacks to bring in for them to help them contend. Obviously, we're going to talk about in our next podcast how they're going to be in the semifinals. Carson Beck, they helped a lot, bring him to a bigger stage, and then also Cam Ward as well. Demon Williams is a guy that, again, could help Miami completely go into the cycle that they have been wanting to go to. Proven guys with raw talent. I think he would be a great fit at Miami. I also think he would be a great fit at Oregon as well. I mean, those two teams are in a very similar standpoint right now. I know there's rumors of Dante Moore coming back. I don't think Dante Moore is going to come back by any means. So again, those two teams right now in the college football playoffs, who both of their quarterbacks are most likely going to go the NFL route after the season, I think Demon Williams would be perfect for them. I personally don't like LSU. There's a lot going on with LSU. I don't know if LSU is going to be ready for a college football playoff spot next year with Lane Kiffin. I know they're active in the transfer portal. I know the receivers they brought in, but I want to go to a more stable program right now. I think Miami, there's a ton of opportunity in the ACC for Demon Williams. It would help his development, and it's a pretty easy route to the college football playoffs. And Oregon, I mean, come on. Oregon the last 10 years have been contending. Oregon would be a great spot for him as well. But Demon Williams right now, again, it's a very sticky case for him just because of when he backed out and him entering with a no contact tag. There could be a lot of tampering, but Demon Williams, the biggest dual threat quarterback, in my opinion, in this transfer portal cycle. You could argue he is the best quarterback in this transfer portal cycle. He put up huge numbers. He has elite rushing upside. He can make every throw in college football. Again, reminds me a lot of Kyler Murray. I hope we see Miami or Oregon for him. I hope it's not LSU, but again, who knows? Hopefully nothing happens with him because he's a guy that could completely change the landscape for college football. He's a guy that could, I believe right now, could lead a team to a national championship. So talented. Demon Williams, crazy story. And then again, DJ Lagway, like we discussed, going to Baylor. I believe that was a perfect move. Two guys I wanted to talk about on this little mini pod. That wraps up this episode of Sloppy Saturdays. Drop down below if you think DJ Lagway made the right decision. Drop down below where you think Demon Williams is going to go. And we